Hello, Internet. Thanks for joining us for your weekly recap in sports here on the DNA Sports Recap.
All right, so moving on along, let's go ahead and do a little bit of chatting on the NBA.
NBA basketball, dude. Since the All-Star break, who do you think best team in the NBA since trade deadline?
Well, record-wise, the best team in the NBA since the trade deadline has been the Milwaukee Bucks. They are 10-1 since the trade deadline. Which team has been the hottest since then is definitely going to be them. We do have some other contenders for that because the Knicks were also on a nice little 7-game winning streak.
The Knicks went on a run there, man.
Yeah, they're now the 6th seed in the East, I believe.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the trade deadline, though. We have about 10 games under our belt since then. Who won the trade deadline based off of record?
It pains me to say this, being the Homer Utah Jazz fan that I am, but unfortunately the LA Lakers have pretty much turned it around since the trade deadline.
Absolutely, and it just goes to show you that depth wins over flashy names on the back of the jersey anytime.
Malik Beasley.
Jared Vanderbilt. They also added
D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell, yeah. I think that's a better fit for him versus in Minnesota trying to run a pick-and-roll offense with Rudy Gobert. It's just not really his style. So
he's a shooting first point guard, man. He doesn't want to give the ball up unless he's in a position that he can't score the basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been him the whole time. He's a good three-point shooter. The Lakers also added Mo Bamba from the Orlando Magic, which was
sneaky.
I haven't seen how much he's played, but it's a sneaky good pickup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. The Lakers are 8-3. They went from being outside the play-in tournament looking in. They are in, I believe, 9th place right now at the time of recording this. They might even be able to squeak out and not even be in the play-in tournament by the end of the season.
I think the Jazz probably fall out of it.
Only a game out?
Only game out. But the Jazz also have like the number one strength of schedule to face during the rest of the season. They're going to fall. I think that definitely almost confirms a play-in spot at minimum for the Lakers. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of turning into a fun team to watch. They're much more entertaining. I always like watching teams that, can kind of piece it together and kind of make it work on the fly.
Oh yeah.
Rather than teams that have they haven't been coached a whole lot. They're just kind of making it work.
Yeah.
So.
Honestly, another one of the good teams that have been in the Western Conference since the trade deadline has actually been the Phoenix Suns. They're 7-2. So the injury to Kevin Durant. I don't know if he's back yet or not. I don't know if it's
I think he just played his first game. In the last week.
Didn't really affect you guys too much, but that's not exactly the reason why you got him. You got him for the postseason, so that's hopefully he stays healthy for that. And of course the Nuggets staying strong, 8-3, still doing their thing there. One thing I would notice though is that the Golden State Warriors, man, they went from everybody talking about it to I believe they're in the 5th or 6th seed right now in the West. So let's
hear your hot take. Who's coming out of the Western Conference?
Oh, who's coming out of the West?
Who's coming out of the West?
I still say it's going to be Denver.
You say Denver?
Yes. I see Denver and Golden State. I don't see either team beating those two in a 7-game series.
So I agree for my Western Conference Finals. I think it'll be Denver and Golden State, and I think Golden State comes out and goes to the finals again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You don't think the Jokic is going to pull it out, huh?
Jokic hasn't convinced. I think he's a great player, man. When it comes to the playoffs, it's a completely different beast.
Yeah, I 100%
agree. And
agree.
Experience is everything when it gets to the playoffs, and that's what the Golden State Warriors got.
The Denver Nuggets have never had a healthy team in the postseason like they have right now.
Absolutely.
Jokic has pretty much tried to win every series, solo. Not a whole lot of help. This time, the team is fully loaded and ready to go. I don't know. It'll be a fun series.
Are we overlooking the Kings?
No.
No.
Sorry, we're not.
Sorry, Kings. You're playing great basketball, but you have zero playoff experience. Once you get there, you're going to struggle.
Good point on that. I want to between the Kings and Memphis, who wins that game? Who wins that series?
If the Grizzlies are without John Morant, I take the Kings all day.
I take the Kings either way.
Really?
I just
Even
think
with Ja?
They are that hot, man. They are that hot, and Memphis has proven to be a team that kind of crumbles in the playoffs as well. I think it would be really interesting. I definitely think the Sacramento Kings are going to beat as it sits right now, if the standings are where they are right now. I think Denver gets the finals, and they're going against Golden State. Golden State beats Phoenix. I have the Kings beating the Clippers, and I have Memphis beating OKC or Minnesota, one of the two. I do have Memphis getting out of the first round. I also have Sacramento getting out of the first round. I just don't have any faith in any team that has Russell Westbrook as point guard on that team. You can never say that he doesn't give 100% effort. He tries to win every game.
Every game,
but
for sure.
His style of play is not conducive to winning basketball games in the postseason. So,
well, not to mention it, in the postseason, the three-pointer becomes so important to swing momentum, and Russell Westbrook's just not your guy for that.
No, his three-point shooting has gone down steadily over the last several seasons.
I mean, have you seen the clips of people just leaving him open 15 feet to the three-point line?
Yeah.
I mean,
and he's not shooting it.
Just blatantly daring him to shoot any three-point ball. I mean, you're an NBA player, Russell Westbrook. Shame on you.
They close out more on Rudy Gobert on the three-point line than they do on Russell Westbrook right now,
yeah.
which is insane. So, with that said, who do you got coming out of the East?
I got to go Milwaukee Bucks, man. It goes back to, again, experience. I think in a 7-game series, they beat the Celtics.
Mm-hmm. So you got Boston and Milwaukee as your Eastern Conference final.
I don't know if it can work out that way because they're the top two seeds. It should, right?
Yeah, there's a pathway where that works.
Okay.
How far do you think the Cavs go?
I do think the Cavs make it out of the first round. I don't see them making it out of the second round. I think the problem with the Cavs is you're going to be relying on Donovan Mitchell as your primary scorer. I've seen it. I've felt it. I've been there as a fan, still a fan of Donovan, but I don't know if they have enough to get out of the second round. You're getting game planned hard against. It's going to be really difficult.
The only team that is guaranteed a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference right now that has a losing road record, Cavaliers. Dynamite at home, they are -3 on the road, which is the only team on both East and West who has a losing record that has a guaranteed playing spot.
They just struggle to play on the road, huh?
Yeah, so I see them possibly making it out of the first round, definitely not making it out of the second.
I think Philadelphia beats Brooklyn, but I don't see Philadelphia going anywhere.
No, I see it.
I'm not convinced with any James Harden-led team. Joel Embiid is a great 7-footer that plays basketball. I don't believe that he can put a team on his back and just carry it through a 7-game series.
No, I agree. I would say this, though. Here's my hot take for the playoffs. Ready for this?
I am.
Brooklyn Nets make it a 6-game series against the Philadelphia 76ers.
That'd be fantastic to watch.
That's my hot game. That's my
Get it, Royce O'Neal.
Go get it. Who do you have ultimately win the championship?
I'm going to say Milwaukee repeats. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. There's just in that scenario, absolutely. There's just no way. But I actually prefer to see Denver versus Milwaukee in the finals.
That would be a much more entertaining finals. And actually, in that scenario, my hot take would be Denver beats Milwaukee in the finals.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a hot take, man.
Yeah.
Like I do see that they have. I think they match up well size-wise.
Yeah.
I think Milwaukee has the edge shooting-wise.
Yep.
But I definitely think that
Milwaukee's got Joe Ingles. Of course they got the edge shooting-wise.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that might be the deciding factor.
The deciding factor is Joe Ingles.
Slow-mo Joe is what's going to carry the Bucks to the promised land.
Yep.
But yeah, no. Honestly, I would prefer Denver over Milwaukee. Denver and Milwaukee over Denver and Golden State, but I honestly see both of them being just as likely to happen. So, but yeah, I just think it's going to be fun to watch. Do you see anybody in the currently that are in the Western Conference that's going to fall out? Anybody that's going to join into the play-in tournament possibly?
I don't know about joining in. I mean, those bottom teams are all in the bottom for a reason. I mean, you hate to think that like the Mavericks couldn't compete and get in there with a Luka-led team. I know people are going to say that we're crazy for not even including the Phoenix Suns being as talented as they are, but I'm just a firm believer that playoff experience gets you playoff wins. And
yeah, my not so hot take is Chris Paul's not going to make it. He's going to get hurt sometime in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's becoming more of a facilitator versus the aggressive mid-range shot, which is what has helped this team make it to the finals last season.
And his fantastic mid-range shot gets you past teams like the Utah Jazz of previous years when you got a defender like Rudy Gobert. Yeah. I mean, where you can scheme a player out, Chris Paul is that guy.
You're not getting past Golden State or Denver with that kind of mid-range game.
No, they've got too many good on-ball defenders, and even just competent on-ball defenders like the goal. I mean, that's what the Warriors like hang their hat on is competent on-ball defenders, and that's what's gotten them through all these years.
Yeah,
Klay Thompson will guard somebody in a playoff game.
Klay Thompson, I think that's the reason why he's so injury prone. Is he's always been given the best man on the best guard on the other team, and He can light it up from three at the same time, that
Yep.
guy. How do you see the Jazz season wrapping up? Do you see it pretty much being...
It's going to be rough to watch the Jazz the rest of the year. I mean, like I mentioned before, they have the number one strength of schedule. They're going to be on the road. They're going to be playing playoff contending teams. They've moved away all their pieces that are going to win ball games for them. They did just re-sign Chris Dunn, which I love to see.
Two-year contract.
Yeah.
Second year's
Yeah.
not guaranteed, but it's still a 2-year deal.
But I like it. I mean, Chris Dunn's come out and played really hard for the Jazz.
Hustled.
I think it's going to be a rough rest of the season for us Jazz fans. I think they'll probably end up falling out of the play-in tournament. Season will end a little bit early, and then the Jazz come back strong next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should go in and get some season tickets, and that way we can really, really go.
Oh yeah, really kind of drive home that content for sure. Yeah, so please, like, subscribe, leave us a review, all that good stuff. All right, well, yeah, I mean, to your point though, I mean, I think it's a day late and a dollar short on that. We should have done this a long time ago. If you're gonna fall out of the playoffs in general, I think you should have done this much sooner and gotten a chance to be in the top 5 picks. With the Jazz's haul, if you had a top 5 pick, you could easily trade that up and get yourself a Scoot Henderson potentially. But I think, it is what it is. Hopefully we get a decent odds as a decent pick, and we can move forward with what we got. But yeah, it's going to be tough to watch, but you're going to want to see what you saw against Miami Heat is exactly what you want to see with this Utah Jazz team.
Yeah, that plays
Hard
all the
fought
way to
game.
the buzzer.
All the way to the buzzer, and you come away with a loss.
Yep, get a loss.
I don't think anybody's upset with that. Any genuine Jazz fan's not upset with that loss.
No.
I mean, it's a playoff-bound team on the road. Last game on the road trip. How many times did we watch the first team in the NBA, the number one ranked team in the NBA, blow it to the Sacramento Kings on the road?
Far too often.
So I would love to see, I love seeing this team compete. I love seeing them try hard. I love seeing them, and if they lose, they lose. It's not a deal breaker. I know we're not getting anywhere in the play. Even if we made the play in, we wouldn't get anywhere. You're facing, with the exception of Memphis, though. I think the Jazz would actually have a punching chance against Memphis if they got the.
I agree with that.
So that would have been interesting. That does it for us here with the NBA chat. Again, more talk on basketball next week. Once again, folks, this is a podcast. So if you're watching this on short form on YouTube, if you want to check out the whole episode as a whole, you can visit us where you can find your podcast underneath DNA Sports Recap.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all the stuff. We appreciate your guys' comments and feedback.
Until next week. Thanks again, guys.
Till next week.